Apparently it's 6 o'clock. So in accordance with South Carolina Code of Laws 1985, Section 30-4-80-E, the following have been notified of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting. The Herald, the Charlotte Observer, CN2, and WRHI. If I could, please ask you all to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. We'll now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Those of you who have a seat, sorry, standing room only tonight. You've all received a copy of the agenda. Were there any adjustments or corrections?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All right, that will stand with unanimous consent. We've got 2 sets of minutes. I know one was adjusted already. So let's start with the April 1st minutes. Were there any other additions or corrections? Those will stand with unanimous consent. And then April the 14th meeting, any adjustments or corrections there?
Nope.
All right, those also will stand with unanimous consent. We've got a whole lot of special recognition, so we will jump right into that. I did not see Mr. Hill out there, so I think you're going to do this.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, I still don't see him unless he's way out there.
All right, good evening. As you are aware, each year there are nominations for the Fort Mill School District Hall of Fame, and I am proud to present to you 2 nominees that will hopefully be inducted this year. The ceremony will be held on June 2nd at 5 p.m. here at the district office in the training center. And our 2 nominees this year, I cannot think of anybody better. The first one is Miss Marty McGinn. Miss McGinn. Yep. Miss McGinn was a teacher. She was an assistant principal. She was the director of middle and secondary education before becoming assistant superintendent in 2010, and she retired in 2022. She has done a little bit of contract work for us here and there because of her institutional knowledge of the Fort Mill School District, but she is definitely deserving of this award too. Our second nominee, definitely deserving of this award, is Dr. Chuck Epps. As y'all are aware, Dr. Epps has dedicated over 45 years of service to the Fort Mill School District. He served as a teacher, a coach, a principal, and finished his career in the district as our superintendent for the last 15 years. And just honored to be able to watch them go into the Hall of Fame, and especially together because they worked alongside each other for so long. So I guess that's it. I don't
That's
think
awesome.
we'd vote on it, but yeah.
I don't think
All
we
right.
need to vote on it, but that's exciting.
Thank y'all.
Wait to induct them.
Cool.
All right, we do have a presentation of some students that are going to be board members of the Fort Mill History Museum. Is Miss Ashley Taylor here? There she is. Come on up.
My name is Ashley Taylor. I'm the chairman of the Fort Mill History Museum. I have Christia Humberg, the executive director, and Kelly Keniston, a board member. I would like to thank you for letting us have the opportunity to speak tonight and for your continued partnership with our board. For the past 5 years, we've had 3 students, one from each high school in the district, be on our board, serve on our board. They come to our board meetings and they volunteer, and they just bring a strong sense of enthusiasm, new perspectives, community pride, and we're just really grateful that they can be a part of it. This year, unfortunately, our students couldn't make it this evening due to sports and other commitments, but I would like to recognize them. So we have Bryce Wilson from Fort Mill High School, Ryan Cunningham from Catawba Ridge High School, and Skylar Robinson from Nation Ford High School. I'd also like to invite you to our 4th annual Memory Mill event, which is the event that the students put on. If you haven't been there in the past, it's a fun event. It involves an essay, an art, photography, and a history bowl competition. And the students work on that all year, and then it ends with that History Bowl. It's on November 12th at 5 p.m. Here at the school district building in the training center. So we hope to see you all there. And lastly, we're excited to welcome our new team lead on the project, Darlene Romanek. She is eager to work closely with our students this year. And I want to take a moment to recognize David Ward, whose vision and leadership brought this program to life. This initiative was truly his brainchild, and we are grateful that he took ownership of it and helped build it into what it is today. We're fortunate that he is going to stay on and continue to stay involved with Darlene and help her through the next year to help her guide her through the process. But yeah, thank you again for your partnership and investing in opportunities for the students to kind of participate and see local history in a meaningful way.
Thank you very much. All right, Dr. Wakesness, you've got some recognition.
Yes, I have two recognitions tonight, and the first one, I don't know if Savannah or anyone from River Trail is here. You could come on up. But tonight we are proud to recognize an outstanding accomplishment by one of our schools, River Trail Elementary. They have been named a Model PLC at Work school, which is a prestigious national honor awarded to only about 600 schools and districts across the United States and Canada. This is a very rigorous process. It involves test scores and what you're doing day in and day out in your school and achievement over time. So this reflects that sustained commitment to raising student achievement through a clear and focused approach to collaboration, teaching, and learning. So at the heart of this work is the PLC process, which you guys have heard about a lot, which emphasizes three powerful ideas: a relentless focus on student learning, a strong culture of collaboration among educators, and a commitment to using results to drive continuous improvement. As I mentioned, this is not a short-term initiative. It takes years of focused, intentional effort, shared responsibility, and increased student achievement. And sometimes that's even harder for some of our schools because we have such high achievement and we have to show increases over time, which makes it extra difficult. So this recognition is a testament to the dedication of the entire school team, the teachers, the staff, and school leadership who have worked together to ensure every student learns at high levels. So please join me in congratulating Principal Savannah Steger and the entire River Trail School community on this remarkable honor. All right, and my second recognition tonight is for Miss Nicole Lefebvre. So the South Carolina Coalition for Mathematics and Science is a statewide organization that is based out of Clemson University. They work to amplify and develop the STEM community in our state. The vision of this organization is for all South Carolinians to exemplify world-class STEM knowledge, skills, and life and career characteristics that enable successful careers and engaged citizenship. And this is also at the heart of the work that we do through our STEAM initiative in our school district. One of the programs that they run is the South Carolina STEM Educator of the Year. And this year, we are honored to have one of our very own teachers win this statewide award. Ms. Lefebvre currently teaches Introduction to Teaching at Catawba Ridge High School. One of my favorite things about her winning this state award is that she does not teach math or science, which is traditionally what we think of when we think of STEM or STEAM. So this shows that STEAM isn't just about the subjects you teach. It is taking your content and teaching it in a way that engages students and allows them to develop real-world traits, skills like collaboration, problem solving, and critical thinking. These are the skills that we know will serve our students well throughout life, no matter what career they choose. So please join me in congratulating the 2026 South Carolina STEM Educator of the Year, Ms. Nicole Lefebvre.
Yes, it is. You're still up.
Did he get the right sheet?
All right, now it's time for the Red Nose Award. Exciting times. If y'all remember, this staff recognition program is established in honor of my dad, Stormy Young, who was a longtime educator in the Fort Mill School District, and used the symbolic red nose featured in Patch Adams as a tool for humor and connection. It really connects with the 4 C's framework: culture, community engagement, commitment, and continuous improvement. And we really want to highlight our staff that show that daily work of outstanding performance in those 4 C's. So I'm excited to introduce our 4 winners this month, for the month of April, I guess you could say. Our first winner is from Kingstown Elementary School, and that's Landon Bailey. Landon Bailey. Well, let me give you the red nose first so you can, yes, you got to start unwrapping that thing. Landon Bailey goes above and beyond her role as a school counselor, serving on the behavior SEL team, choreographing the school musical, and leading an outstanding Veterans Day program. She is constantly supporting students, collaborating with staff, and handling every situation with care and grace. As the lead planner for Parent University, she carried a tremendous load behind the scenes and made a lasting impact on our school community. And this is the first mother-daughter combo for the Red Nose Award, because Stacy Johnson won it a few months ago. So congratulations. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, you can leave the nose on.
I'm all out of sorts tonight. I don't know why. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. And our second winner, I had to lie to him to get him here. He's worked at a lot of schools, but right now he is working on a district initiative, and that is Mr. Tony Carey. I told him we were talking about his initiative tonight, and I needed him here. So we're not talking about the initiative. You can leave after this if you want to. Tony Carey is someone who makes everyone around him better. From student to teacher to administrator, he has consistently supported and inspired others. His knowledge, kindness, and commitment to this community are unmatched. Tony's heart for people truly reflects the culture of Fort Mill Schools and represents excellence, empathy, and service. And he was also a huge mentor to me as a young assistant principal many, many years ago. So. Our next winner was a former student of mine, Alexis Clausen from Fort Mill Elementary School. Alexis brings positivity and care to everything she does. She builds strong relationships with her students, meeting them where they are and helping them feel valued and successful. She is also a collaborative and supportive teammate, making her a vital part of her school community. And this makes me feel really old, looking that you have your own kids up here. Congratulations.
Of course. Yeah, right? There we go. You gotta scooch you over with Mom. Perfect. Love it.
And last but not least, our first winner from our transportation office, Mr. Jim McCord. Jim McCord is a dedicated and reliable leader in transportation. Known for his kindness and compassion towards students, he creates a positive environment on every route. He is always willing to step in, support the team, and go the extra mile, making him an invaluable member of the department. Congratulations, Jim.
Recognition was great. Now we're going to move into the school spotlight from TK Elementary. Ms. Bridget Walker.
All right. I feel like we might as well say welcome to Titan Country because we have so many Titans here that are joining us tonight. But we just appreciate this opportunity, as we always do, to get to talk a little bit about Titan Country and the excellence that we have there. So getting us started, and I always struggle with this, so here we go. Let's see if it works. So TKK Elementary is a collective leadership school through the State Department of Education. So every year, as a CLI school, we put together what's called a priority of practice. We have to look at all the data like we always do, but we want to see what common theme can continue to grow us forward. So this year, one of the things that we wanted to do, actually, in thinking it was all very coincidental, we didn't realize at the same time you guys were talking about this at the high schools with the +1 and how students need to be involved in multiple things. So ours is also building leaders in Titan Country. When we look at what that is, we're not just talking about our students, we're also talking about our staff and also bringing in parents in a different capacity than maybe what they have been accustomed to before. So why is that important? A part of our mission and vision, the vision part where it says, while providing a place where everyone is known and valued. Something that we've seen and we want to pay close attention to is not waiting until students are out in the real world or in middle school and high school where they are given more of those opportunities to lead. We want to talk to them about leading from where they are, whether it's in the classroom, whether it is around Titan Country or out in the community. We feel like cultivating those leaders at an early age is really important. It helps with school attendance. It helps with just the desire to be a student or a staff member or a parent in Titan Country. So instead of me talking, as most great leaders do, I'm going to step aside and let you hear from our very important people that are with me today, some of our students and staff.
Hi, I'm Erin McHenry. I teach first grade and I'm part of our school store team. So at TKK, students can earn Titan tickets by demonstrating our school-wide expectations such as showing respect and commitment throughout the school day. And these tickets help us to just reinforce and recognize those positive choices that the kids are making each and every day. And once a month, they get the chance to shop at our school store with the tickets that they've earned.
Hi, I'm Erin Small, another part of our school store team. We kicked off this year by basically surveying our students to kind of see what exciting prizes they would like to have in the school store and what they would want to work towards earning those tickets to be able to shop for. Our Titan Treasure student leaders bring energy every month and enthusiasm as they run the school store, warmly welcoming their fellow Titans and helping them choose the items that they've excitedly earned those tickets to come by. Our student leaders take ownership by keeping everything organized and ensuring that the items are ready to go home with our Titan shoppers, making every visit to the school store a fun and rewarding experience.
Hello. Hello, my name is MJ. I'm a second grader at TKK. I love working at our school store this year. I was a runner, so the older kids would tell me which items to get from the drawers and bins. I love seeing my classmates and helping them pick the fun items they earned. Some of the favorite items that people picked were candy, dinosaur eggs, and mini squishies. Students could also purchase experiences. There were a lot of great options, but the favorites were being with Officer Will or vice principals for an hour, giving a sweet treat to the whole class, and bringing a stuffy to school for the day. This helped me be comfortable being a school leader and working with kids of all ages. I'm excited to continue to grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Hannah Thacker,
And I'm Mrs. Miller. I'm a first grade teacher.
and I'm a fifth grade teacher at TKK, and we represent the lost and not yet found club at TKK. We have three of our leaders here to tell you all about it. You can.
My name is Brooklyn Fender. I'm a fifth grader. The Lost and Found leaders help our school stay neat and tidy. We check playgrounds for forgotten items and make sure to display them in ways to help all Titans find anything left behind. That's what being a leader is all about, helping others.
As we leaders work together to help our school, this year we created a Google form to request a team search of any lost items.
We also display lost items at various school events and keep an open mind by trying new and fun ways to help items find their way home.
We are committed to returning items to their rightful owners.
When we aren't able to return items, we choose compassion. Any items left longer than a month are washed and donated to local charities.
Thank you for learning about our Lost and Not Yet Found Club.
Hello, I'm Michelle Coburn. I am, along with the amazing Jackie French, an instructional assistant in our special needs classroom of our Teacher of the Year, Kelsey Cotton. We are honored to be part of the group that got to launch Titan Buds, our inclusive program. We had more than 130 kids in 2nd through 5th grade apply. They had to complete an application, they had to get a teacher recommendation, and they had to sit with an interview with one of us. And we were able to accept about half of those kids in 1st and 2nd semester in A and B weeks. And we have one of our buddies here to talk a little bit more about it.
Hi, my name is Max, and I'm a 4th grader at TKK. This year I joined Titan Buds, a club where general education and special education students come together to build friendships, learn about each other's differences, and create an inclusive school community. We spend our time doing crafts, reading, learning life skills, and practicing for the Special Olympics and Unified Champion sports. This program gave me a chance to make friends while working on my teammates and leadership skills in a fun environment. Being a leader has helped me grow as a student because I am more confident and happy to work and play with everyone. Thank you.
And he mentioned Special Olympics. We are also going to talk about, we were able to take 11 of our 5th grade Titan buddies with us in April to the Special Olympics. And it was a really amazing experience for all of us. We also have recently been recognized as a Special Olympics Unified Champion School. And part of that means that we are meeting youth inclusive leadership roles, we have school-wide participation, and we are going to participate in unified sports. We will have our kickball game in a couple weeks that we're really excited for. And we also, as part of being a unified school, will get a portion of the funds that we raise for the Polar Plunge back to us so we can continue to grow these initiatives in our school.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm Kate Beal. I'm a 1st grade teacher.
I'm Brett McSimick. I'm a 4th grade teacher.
And we are the leaders of the news crew. And we have our friend Trevor here who's going to tell you a little bit more about it.
Good evening. My name is Trevor Yako, and I am a part of our Titan News crew. As a club, we meet weekly to plan, film, and edit our school's daily news program. We write the script for our different segments, including anchors, lunch of the day, the weather, the pledge, the word of the day, sports, and interviews. Next, we film our segments in Canva. Finally, we use our editing skills to clean up and perfect our news program. The whole school watches us every morning together and need-to-know information for the day. Being a part of news crew at TK Elementary has helped me train myself to become a better role model and has also helped me want to speak up more when I talk. One thing I love about what we do at news crew is we have creative freedom of what we do. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lola Rotz.
And I am Preston Rotz.
And we are the creators of the Titan Talks podcast. A lot of people ask, why did you start the Titan Talks podcast? And we say, because a lot of people, including my mother, travel a lot, and they can't always read the newsletter. So me and Preston, we thought that it would be easier to just listen on a plane or a car or on a walk. And that's why we started the Titan Talks podcast.
Another question we get asked is, how did you start the Titan Talks?
Thanks to our great administration led by Ms. Wagner, we asked for some time and we presented the idea. She brought in a tech specialist, Ms. Casey, which she helped us figure out how the programming worked.
That basically means where to put the podcast and what to use to get it set up. Preston and we used the weekly newsletter. We did not want to have to do it at school every single week, and me and Preston are twin brothers and sisters, so we just wanted to do it from home. And if you're doing it from home, that means you have to be really responsible and get the podcast done in time.
We know that people rely on us to get them the Titan Talks each week, so it has taught us responsibility and how to be a leader in our school, TK Elementary. My friends and other parents would come up to me at school and even the grocery store saying, "Hey, good job on the podcast. I listened to it and it was great."
Being able to know that you have been in entertainment while letting people know what's going on is truly amazing. Before we finish our time, we would like to just thank Ms. Wagner and you, the school board, for believing in us and giving us not only us, but all the students at TK Elementary an opportunity to learn and grow. Our goal each and every week is to make sure we represent Titan Country with the highest integrity. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Doug Presley. I teach music at TKK Elementary, and to support the development of our emerging musicians and encourage leadership, we initiated a variety of music clubs. These clubs meet before and after school. Oh, I have a clicker. These clubs are Singing Club, Steel Drum Club, Ukulele Club, and African Drumming or Djembe Club.
Hello, my name is Kinley Coffey and I am proud to represent TKK Elementary Singing Club. In Singing Club, we come together to learn songs, practice teamwork, and build confidence through music. We perform a variety of songs and love sharing our voices with others in the school and community. We've been invited to perform at special events like the Strawberry Festival, which is really exciting for us. We also collaborate with other music groups in our school, including the Steel Drum Band, Ukulele Club, and Djembe Club, which makes our performances even more fun and unique. Singing Club isn't just about music. It's about friendship, creativity, and expressing ourselves. Thank you for letting me share a little bit about Singing Club.
Hi, my name is Avery Blaisdell. I'm in 5th grade, and I am part of the Steel Drum Club. I love the Steel Drum Club because I get to learn about a whole new instrument. Before I joined, I didn't even know what a steel drum was. Right now, we are practicing music to perform at a special steel drum concert. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Roxana Vega-Smith and I'm part of the Ukulele Club. I am very glad I can be part of this club. It's been a lot of fun, and the way Dr. Presley teaches us ukulele and the other clubs, he teaches singing and the other instruments, is very fun and can keep us like listening and like locked in. The Ukulele Club is in the morning for all grades, and the instrument clubs can also perform in different like other performances, and it's been a lot of fun and I've learned a lot. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Prisha Shinde. I'm in 3rd grade in TKK Elementary School. I'm part of the Djembe Club. In that club, we learn how to play a special drum called the djembe. The club is really fun and I enjoy coming to club every day. A djembe is a hand drum from West Africa. The word djembe means all gather in peace. There's 3 types of sounds in the djembe: tone, bass, and slap. Thank you.
All right, I'm Lindsay Stevenson, the lead teacher, and
I'm Jessica Catledge, the reading interventionist.
So as we move towards our conclusion, it's important to recognize that building a culture of leadership starts with our educators, and by empowering our staff voice and building collegiality through a foundation of trust, which we've been working on, we create an environment where everyone feels valued and capable of leading. And part of the CLI is each year you add a new POP. So that's what this is representing, is each of our POPs from the past 4 years. Let's see. So as a CLI school, we do want to share that we had the privilege of hosting over 50 educators from across the state for a collaborative learning lab. This event allowed all of us to share the story of Titan Country and showcase the dedication our staff pours into their work every day. And at the heart of our mission is a foundation of professional trust, which directly informs how we cultivate student leadership. We are constantly asking ourselves, how might we create Titans as leaders? Ultimately, our goal is to empower student voice and to shape their own character, ensuring that they don't just follow a path, but they are creating their own path.
TKK Elementary has been recognized by the South Carolina Department of Education as a collective leadership school.
It's an incredible experience.
Recently, TKK Elementary had the opportunity to showcase its school to 50 educators from across the state.
Everyone's voice matters in this moment.
After presenting how TKK Elementary has developed a culture rooted in collective leadership,
Follow after you guys.
Okay. The guests were invited to experience Titan Country firsthand.
If they're a student in South Carolina, they deserve the very best. And if we can help be a part of a school's journey to do better for their students, for their families, for their teachers and staff, then we want to take on that responsibility and help.
If we're sitting there learning from the same people every day, we're not learning much more.
TJ Devine is the principal of J.C. Lynch Elementary, a school located outside of Florence, South Carolina.
And the House Ambassadors lead the chants.
This is his first visit to TKK Elementary.
Y'all like doing that?
He is impressed by the positive learning environment.
It's nice to meet y'all.
They are one family, they are on one page. And they all know what's going on. So like the mission and vision that they have here is not something that's just set on the website, but it's something that's truly in practice and ingrained in the students and the staff.
What did you learn from the book?
Hoping that they see the love and relationship between our students and staff.
Can you say freedom?
I want them to see smiling faces in the hallway. I want them to see students taking on leadership roles within their classroom or within Titan Country as a whole.
Getting them to slow down and know that it's okay to make mistakes.
Educators from out of town visited several classrooms across different grade levels and received a brief overview of out-of-the-classroom opportunities that position TKK as a model for other schools. They set up booths in the gymnasium where attendees could learn about the various programs offered.
Thank you, guys.
Principal Devine expressed gratitude for the chance to collaborate with the TKK Elementary community and was inspired by the efforts of everyone involved in fostering a strong focus on education.
Probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned as being a principal is it is definitely okay to go ask somebody else for some help. And obviously this area has experienced a lot of success academically, and that's something that, of course, we all want to strive for.
For Principal Wagner, today's showcase served as a powerful recognition of the dedication and leadership displayed throughout the school, highlighting the journey of success achieved together.
What we've done today and what we've created, it's a celebration. It's a celebration of all of the hard work that we put in building a culture and a climate where people want to be, kids are growing and learning, and staff want to get up and come to work. And I think everything that we've created creates that culture to where that's exactly what's going on in Titan Country. I can't put into words the amount of pride that I have for our school, but even more so for the journey of where we were and where we are now.
And if you look at our graph here, you'll notice that almost half of our students are already stepping up as leaders. As we look forward to the 26-27 school year, we want to provide enough variety that the remaining students feel empowered to join a leadership group that fits their specific interest. So as we're expanding the opportunities to include theater group, literacy leaders, recycling club, yearbook leaders, and unified champion liaisons.
So at Titan Country, leadership isn't just a title, it's a commitment to meeting the social, emotional, and academic needs of every individual, whether it's through any of the clubs that we've spotlighted or showed in the video, any of our staff initiatives. We are learning and growing together every day.
Congratulations. I mean, I thought for a minute there that it was high school students based on how poised and well-spoken they were.
Very good job. They make us proud and make our life fun and exciting every day. Do you guys have any questions for us? I look to you because you always ask. Start with you, Mr. Bodie.
I'll put me on the spot. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, let's see here. Actually, yes.
And you can pull up a kid too. They're ready.
Let's grab one. Yeah, let's grab one. Yeah.
Rudd, Mr. Rudd?
Yeah.
Podcast?
Podcast.
Podcast.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
What are you most proud of being a part of TGK?
Just seeing everyone grow every day and the connections that everyone makes, because I know that one of our core values is relationships and how everyone's always being friends with everyone, getting along. I think it's really cool, and a bunch of leaders, like I see students lead and I'm like, wow, that's cool.
So why do you think relationships matter?
Just building like connections and like being friends with people, because you don't want to be left out of anything. So being that person saying, hey, come join us, I think that's really cool.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You'll notice that Lola usually takes over, but Preston can answer as well. We love her leadership. Anything else for us?
Yeah, I had a question for you. So
Yeah.
I wrote something down here. You mentioned priority of practice.
Yes.
Can you illuminate that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll go back and show.
Please.
So every year through collective leadership at the state level, we come up with a different priority of practice. And really it embeds and ties together all of the things that make TGK amazing. And it uses things that we could be doing with our school improvement council, our school improvement plan. We look at that data. We are still participating in Upbeat Engage. We still use that survey, which is something the district used at one time. So we really look at triangulating that data to see what it is that our data is saying we need to do to continue building. Sometimes it feels like you're getting in the weeds and then you get to the end of the year and this happens and you're like, oh my gosh, like all of the hard work and dedication from our whole Titan Country just is really on display. So the one that we started with first was building collegiality through trust, and that was our first year. We were at a point as a school and with me as a principal that it had to be our number one priority. So that's when we joined CLI, and that was our journey that year. The next really was looking at empowering staff voice. Now that we're trusting of one another and people feel more vulnerable to take those risks and ask those questions, that had to be where we went next, and our data was supporting that. From there, shaping student behavior through collective voice. So really looking at, and y'all have heard it before, CI3T, looking at our behavior expectation matrix, making sure our teachers had ownership in consequences, making sure that they had ownership in the incentives. You heard our school store talk about surveying our students to see what motivates you or incentivizes you to do the right thing. Is it just because, hey, I have integrity, or is there something more to it? And then this year has been cultivating leaders.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Great job. I got one.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The unified sports.
Yes.
Also, I wrote down that priority of practice. I wrote that down on my as part of my takeaway as well. I love that. What has that done for the culture of your school? This unified sports.
Kelsey, I'm putting you on the spot.
Hi, Kelsey Cotton, special ed teacher. Unified Sports is something that we joined this year after the Polar Plunge. They reached out to us and were like, you guys do so much with your special ed community. Like, why are you not a part of this? And we're like, we didn't know. So we joined Unified Sports, and it helps connect us within our school, within our community. It gets parent involvement. It's just a really great way to bridge our special education students with our general education students.
Ms. Wagner. We're talking about all the great things going on at the school, and there's a ton of them. What would you say is one of your bigger challenges at the school?
Ooh, a bigger challenge. We are doing so many amazing things. I think one of the things that makes that possible is the partnership with you guys, the funding that you provide, whether it's putting in a SPED coach, whether it is, and y'all have heard me talk about this before, making sure that we're prioritizing people and putting people in the right spaces to do the right job. We've been blessed. Dr. Maziarz, thank you, and Jen Grant. We have people to help with our SPED department, which is actually allowing us to take our SPED department to the next level next year. We're going to be working through a lot of what you see in our priority of practices, but really move into a more resource and inclusion approach throughout our school, whether it's our self-contained students or our resource and inclusion. And while that is a challenge, because there's the challenge of time, things that are outside of our sphere of control, the sphere of influence that you guys have when you're voting on budgets and whatnot, we just appreciate that you're prioritizing what we need to be able to do what it is Titan Country is equipped to do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good.
Excellent presentation and obviously an excellent school.
Awesome, thank you. Now I'm going to be a mom, so I'm going to a football team and taking entire Titan Country with me.
Okay.
So we'll see you guys later.
Thanks for joining. Thank you. Give it just a second. Our next item on the agenda is public participation, and I was given 4 cards. We've got a 15-minute segment, so everybody can have 3.5 to 4 minutes. They're in the order that they were handed to me, so I will call you up when you come to the microphone if you will state your name and address, and then you have the 3.5 to 4 minutes to address the board. And the first one is Ethan Muggleston.
Good evening, I'm Ethan Muggleston. I'm a senior at Catawba Ridge High School, and I'm addressing the fact that we would like a chair left for my buddy Colton Brown, who passed away this month, so get started, or 2 months ago, I should say. Like I said, my name's Ethan Muggleston. I'm a senior at Catawba Ridge High School, and I'm the vice president of FFA. I'm lucky enough to have known an amazing person as far back as I can remember, dating back to kindergarten or elementary school. His name is Colton Brown. He was also a student at Catawba Ridge High School and in the Fort Mill School District his entire life. He died tragically February 20th, 2026, but I feel like our friendship will last forever. Colton was one of the hardest working people I've ever met, not only academically, but in his personal life, achieving his Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts and ranking top 20 in our class. Our parents and families are extremely close, and he was like a brother to me. Colton's parents, Daniel and Melissa Brown, and the rest of his family, and his parents are here with me today. They're sitting with my parents as well. They were deeply hurt, and so was I, upon learning there would not be a chair left for him at graduation, or possibly a memorial of him at all. No one has heard anything. This is something nobody can explain and make sense of, and that is why I'm here today. I'm trying to get this sorted out for them. His parents are not fully aware, or his parents are fully aware that I'm speaking, I apologize, and they support me to the fullest extent. I was told there won't be a memorial or chair because this is considered triggering, specifically with the chair. This is heartbreaking, and it doesn't really make any sense. Every high school graduation I've attended, my sister graduated from Nation Ford High School. I've seen other graduations. There's always, unfortunately, always been a chair left for a student who has passed away. And seeing that he passed away his senior year, not freshman, sophomore, junior year, even though it shouldn't really make a difference, there should be a chair left for him there. When I learned of this, I took it upon myself with proper guidance to start a petition. That petition was sent out to students in just the Fort Mill School District and parents as well, and it reached schools all the way out to Chester County. It is now up to over 2,000 signatures as of about 10 minutes ago. This, the paper I have in here, but I'm not going to try to dig it out right now. That's already talked about. February 19th, 2026, there were 355 chairs for the 355 graduating seniors set to graduate this year. On the evening of February 20th, Colton was taken from us. While this changes our class size, it shouldn't change the number of chairs. What happened to his chair, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go, but it should stay there. How hard is it to simply keep a chair to honor him and remember an amazing young man who would never get to wear that cap and gown or see his diploma or walk across the stage or celebrate with his friends after graduating, which is a huge achievement in a young person's life. It is honestly going to trigger more people to not see a chair for him, and I think I've proved that with the petition of people, over 2,000 people who are saying they want a chair for him. It's triggering more people to see there is not going to be a chair. Now, I'm curious, is this a district, county, or state rule, or is it a rule, or is it a policy? What is this? I've heard of it, but this is the first time I've ever heard of there not being a chair for somebody. Because I'm pretty sure if anybody in this room, including y'all, I know you guys are parents, some of you, if you lost your child their senior year of high school, which I pray no one ever has to go through that again, you would want them recognized. I'm sure other parents would want their child to be recognized and honored, and I would expect they would want this child to be recognized and honored. When I say child, he was only 18 years old. Never got a chance to achieve the amazing things he talked about achieving, and this kid was smart, like extremely, extremely smart. The least you can do for him and his family is honor him, and his friends as well. This is a huge part of the grieving process for us. The devastation the Brown family and Colton's friends are experiencing is compounded by learning there will not be a chair to recognize him during his commencement ceremony. These past few months have been extremely difficult, not only for me, but for a lot of people. I struggle with this loss on a daily basis, and it's extremely difficult to bear. I was excited for graduation and still am, and was ready to honor my friend as it does help with the grieving process, but no, here I am today fighting to simply get a chair for him at our graduation. And if you think for a second I want to be up here fighting about this, you could not be more wrong. This is the last thing I've wanted to do. I've had to speak about this way too much. This should have been something that was taken care of by the school and the board to pay their respects, but here we are, and there's a part of me that will always be missing. Childhood memories that will bring up the good times and eventually the last times. No one should ever have to stand up in front of a school board, which I'm sure contains parents, like I have already said. I simply ask you put yourself into the shoes of Daniel and Melissa Brown and his friends, receiving the call that you've lost your son. I personally found out at work, and Colton worked with me the last 6 months of his life at the restaurant, that I have some of the coworkers that I have as well. They're also students at Catawba Ridge. I found out while I was at work. I was too emotional to drive, and the 2 minutes it took my parents to come find me and get me home safely was the longest 2 minutes of my life. February 20th, 2026 is a day I will never forget, and anyone who knew Colton won't either. He touched more lives than ever realized, and I speak not only on the behalf of Colton and his family. While I pray there is never another tragic death of a student, I hope my speaking out makes it a regular practice to leave a chair for them at graduation, even though I was under the impression that it was already a normal practice, so I'm confused why this situation is different. My expectation is to have this answer sometime within the next week. That's what I would like. We've been worrying about this for way too long. This has been a really heavy weight on my shoulders and his family's shoulders as well. I understand these meetings are not held on a weekly basis. They're held on a monthly basis, and I feel like this is the last one since the school year is coming to an end. But I feel this matter should be resolved as quick as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't normally respond during public participation, but I do want to respond to you, Ethan. For one, first, for having the courage to come up in front of us. That takes a lot of courage, and just want to thank you for having the courage to come up.
Thank you guys for letting me speak.
And also for advocating on behalf of your classmate Colton Brown and his family. And I think it reflects the compassion and the unity with the petition that you got signed. I think that shows the compassion and unity of the Catawba Ridge family as well.
Yes, sir.
Please know that we hear you. I will work closely, our district administration will work closely with Mr. Ledford and the school administration, and we will come up with a way that we can honor him in a respectful, meaningful way at graduation, and we'll get you that answer in the next week, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yep. The next card I have is Lisa Gunter.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Gunter, and I live in McCullough neighborhood. I'm a parent of a Flint Hill Elementary School second grader and a kindergartner next year. And I'm here because my children's safety and stability at school are not negotiable. Regardless of how we got here, we are here now, and we need Fort Mill School District focused on what you do control: student safety, learning continuity, and clear communication with families. The ongoing situation with Silfab Solar has had real impacts on Flint Hill students and families, with repeated anxiety, uncertainty about health and safety for the children and staff, multiple chemical spill incidents that disrupted instruction and normal operations, and unclear follow-up plans and slow answers on accommodations, forcing families to make high-stakes decisions without reliable information. And the day-to-day impact on my family is very real. Daily, my husband and I discuss our concerns over Silfab, and I'm angry to even be having this conversation still. And I'm angry that I'm having to look at charter school or alternative school options when Flint Hill is an amazing school, very, very much so. And I'm angry that I can't effectively plan for the future school year, as I'm not certain where my kids will go at this time. I'm also frustrated that I have to talk about what chemicals are with my 8-year-old and explain this complex situation. There are financial impacts, and of course the mental and emotional load is heavy with overwhelm, exhaustion, uncertainty, and fear of another incident. And as a clinical social worker, my ethics require me to speak up when conditions threaten children's well-being, and I know as educator ethics, they call for very similar conditions as well, which is a safe, stable learning environment. And I'm asking for clear leadership, timelines, and communication. And I really do want to appreciate the board's March 10th resolution calling for Silfab to be assembly only and for the immediate removal of the hazardous chemicals. Please keep pressing until it's permanent and enforceable. And in the meantime, it'd be great if there was a written safety continuity plan for the Flint Hill families with parent notification and instructions during an incident. Give families clear timelines and criteria for any accommodations that can be made, and provide clear, regular public updates. Prevention has to be the standard next to schools because no emergency plan can replace prevention. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa Maynard. Sorry. Take your time.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Maynard, and I live at 822 Neff Courts. I want to start by saying something that matters because it gets lost in all of this. Families love Flint Hill. We chose the community because of these schools. The teachers, the environment, the sense that when we send our kids here, they're safe and supported. That is exactly why I'm here speaking tonight. Not to fight the schools, but to protect them. You took an important step when you passed the resolution on Silfab. You acknowledged the risk, and you made it clear that what is being built nearby raises real concerns for students and families. That mattered. People saw it, and it gave this community a sense that someone was paying attention. But a resolution cannot be the end of the story. Because right now, from a parent's perspective, it feels like you raised the alarm and then just stepped right back. And the reality is, nothing has changed since that vote. The project continues, chemicals remain on site, and the risks that you identified still exist, and the clock is not slowing down. In August, Flint Hill Middle School opens, and roughly 2,000 additional students will be in that immediate area. That is not a distant concern. That is right around the corner, and it raises the stakes for every decision that is or is not being made right now. So the question is, what comes next? Because if the board recognizes a risk to students, then the responsibility does not stop at passing a resolution. It means continuing to push. It means showing up where your decisions are being made. It means making sure your voice is heard at York County Council, where authority actually exists to act on zoning and enforcement. It also means escalating beyond the local level when necessary. That includes continuing to push the Attorney General's office, engaging the governor, and making sure this issue is not allowed to sit quietly any longer while timelines continue to move forward. This is not about politics. It is not about opposition for the sake of opposition. It is about alignment between what you said, for what was said, and what is being done. You recognize a risk. Now the community is asking you to follow through. Show up at the next York County Council meeting. Push for action, not just acknowledgement. Use your voice at the state level, because by August, there are 2,000 more kids sitting in classrooms in a community that is counting on you to do more than pass a resolution. We are here because we believe in these schools. Now we need to see that same level of commitment reflected in what happens next. I thank you for the time and the opportunity, but let's get this done.
Tracy Smith.
Good evening, members of the school board. Sorry I'm upset after his speech. I lost a daughter who went to your school district. I'm here on regards of SilFab. I don't want to see us in the history books of the museum in the future because we made the wrong decisions for our children here. If we allow this to happen at our school district here in York County, why won't they build more next to other schools in South Carolina? Do we want to set the precedence of putting more children in danger across the state of South Carolina? Why the school board took a public position, the facility continues forward as the resolution carries no weight. At the same time, we're still dealing with an ongoing chemical concern, reported incidences, and growing numbers of unanswered questions of what has happened and continue to arise within this building and how those risks are being managed. They're not even allowing emergency responders to come in the door. They haul the people out to the emergency responders. What should concern you is not only the chemicals themselves, but the pattern. Because more people are stepping up, more parents are paying attention, new voices are signing up to speak. The community is not calming down. I no longer have children in this school district, but the children of this community are my children. It affects my home property. I don't care about that. I care about the safety and welfare of not only the students, the community members, and the staff that have to work next to this. We need a change. We need your assistance. It is no longer about awareness. It's about duty. If you have not seen the evidence, you're blind. I'm sorry. We need the school board members to stand behind us, and we will fight with you. We want our schools to be safe. This doesn't only affect the children at Flint Hill Middle School and Flint Hill Elementary School. It's going to affect all the students that come there to participate for sports. Because this could happen, a catastrophe could happen at any time. I appreciate your time, your understanding, and I'd like you to think about it as if you worked in that building day after day and you were the one that had to respond to all those lives if something happened.
Thank you. All right. Our next set of agenda items are staff reports, starting with monthly financials. Ms. Lordo.
Thank you and good evening. Tonight, I have in your packet the monthly financials for March 31st. We are 3/4 into the fiscal year, 9 months in. As you could see, total revenues to date were $219,682,000, and total expenditures were $180,036,000. So we definitely, fortunately, have a positive cash flow, pretty equivalent to where we were same time last year, but taking into account the increase in our budget. This is what we would expect because we have collected the majority of our property tax collections. We did not have any significant real estate or fee in lieu collections for March, but we did have vehicle tax collections of $2.2 million. We also, you may have noticed, we had a state reimbursement that came in March. It's coded as the MPVE, that's the Manufacturing Partial Value Exemption. That is what the state enacted in 2022, where manufacturers' assessed ratio on their property was reduced from 10.5% to 6%. So this is the state reimbursement. We have seen that increase a little bit each year from the state. So we received $2,063,000 that came in on that state reimbursement. Looking towards where I think we may conclude the year in June, I think that we will be at approximately about 2.8 million over budget after we take into account what we need to account for moving some funds out for opening Flint Hill Middle School, as well as what we need to increase the fund balance by to stay within our 18 to 19% level of fund balance for cash flow for next fiscal year. Any questions on March or year to date? Okay, I'll move on to impact fees. We have collected to date $83,691,572. We've earned interest of $7.5 million. We did recently submit a claim, actually this week, to York County for $1,121,000. So we have drawn down all funds collected now, except we have to keep $1,000 to keep the escrow account open. But we fully drew down on a claim for Flint Hill Middle School this week. So we have kept up to date with York County. Single-family units, we've collected 2,996, and multifamily 2,232. So we've collected in total, since this was enacted, 5,228 units or permits. You may have noticed when you received the April monthly report, we had 8 homes and 5 multifamily units permitted. I looked at that twice because I thought I had the wrong report. It was the same exact amount for April as it was for March. So I just wanted to point that out if you have pulled that up as well. But April actual collections were $341,100.
And we're apparently getting a new 55 and older community, because I saw a bunch of.
Waivers as well for both March and April.
Yeah, that's DRB, and that's over next door to Fort Mill Middle and Elementary, down off the bypass.
Okay. So we are continuing to monitor that with impact fees, but I just want you to know we have kept up to date with making claims against what we've collected for impact fees. As far as the state budget, the last day of the legislative session is next Thursday, May the 14th. The state budget is back in the House this week, but we call it the House 2 version. I'm sure you have been receiving a lot of the legislative updates. We're not expecting any significant changes in the state funding or the formula. We are waiting on receiving the allocations from the Senate version, and the reason that's important is that will be updated for the 135-day ADM counts for all districts across the state. I inquired about that again yesterday. They said they're hoping to get it out this week, but it is pending a couple of charter schools that they're waiting on. So we're in holding mode on that number. But the next step after the House passes their version this week is it will go to conference committee, as you know, with representatives from the House and Senate to resolve any differences. But we just don't anticipate there's going to be a lot of differences between the state funding with this session. The other monthly piece of information I wanted to share is we had a very successful bond issue last week on April 29th. That was our Series 2026A, was in the amount of $20,900,000. You may remember from the resolution that you have approved in March. That was for the annual 8% maintenance, and we had some transportation on there for some new bus purchases. It was a piece of technology from the referendum that we issue every year for our technology change-outs in the summer, and then our IPRB payments. We had 14 bidders for this bond issue, and it was awarded to JP Morgan Securities with a low bid of 2.61% interest. So we were very pleased with that. We did receive what they call a bond premium on this issue of approximately $600,000, I'm rounding. And normally what we would do is we would utilize those funds in capital projects for a few items that did not make the original list. But this year we decided to focus those extra dollars on reduction of the debt millage. And so we instructed bond legal counsel and our bond municipal advisors, Compass, to rework this sale to reduce our debt millage. And so we were able to reduce 1.5 mils. So we're reducing our debt millage from 86 mils to 84 mils. We're hoping we can reduce further depending on where we end up in August with the final assessed value. But I feel very confident we're going to be able to see that 1.5 mil reduction. And I say that leading into the budget discussion. So keep that in the back of your mind. 1.5 mils less on debt because of the successful issue. We also had mentioned to you before, we have 6 bond issues that will be potentially able to be refinanced in the fall. But I think those would impact us a year from now, which is beneficial because we have a higher bond millage requirement in the next year. So with the successful refinancing, we hope we're going to be able to back off of that a little bit, which I think is a good story to tell. We're working really hard to try to do all we can as far as on the debt millage side. But we were very pleased with the sale last week and kind of the shift in thinking on how we were going to utilize those dollars to reduce the debt millage.
That's awesome.
Okay. Any questions about the monthly report? Okay.
All right.
I'll move into the budget discussion. So at the last board meeting on April 14th, the administration, we presented our recommendation to you for the 2026-2027 budget. This plan would, I'm just going to do a quick recap. This would increase the general fund operating budget from $254,487,140 currently to $271,683,005 for next fiscal year. It's an increase of $17,195,000 or 6.8%. It's based on projected student enrollment of 18,818 students, 18818. It includes the opening of Flint Hill, which alone increases the budget slightly over $5 million. That's 44 new FTEs required, even with moving a lot of positions from some of the other 6 middle schools. And it includes $766,000 of operational costs to operate an additional facility. In this plan that we recommended, the teacher pay would increase $2,000 each cell. That's in accordance with what the state is doing on the state minimum teacher salary schedule. All teachers that are eligible would receive a step increase, and all staff would receive a cost of living increase of 2.5% and a step if they're eligible. That's our #1 funding priority, along with opening the new middle school. As I mentioned, we are waiting very anxiously on seeing the updated projections based on the Senate plan, but really based on the 135th day. The budget, just for the benefit of the public, we always go at it with, we want a balanced budget. We want to focus on recruiting and retaining staff in all areas of the district. We want to maintain reasonable class sizes, but we look at that where we can, and I'm going to talk about that a little more. And of course, we want to stay in compliance with all federal and state regulations, and we think that this certainly meets those requirements. At the last meeting, I went into a lot of detail about the state allocations and how we're impacted on the funding formula, and it's not favorable for us. Overall, our general fund allocations are decreasing $605,773 for next year. That means that we have to shift the burden of that, once again, unfortunately, to our taxpayers to maintain those same services to our students. The state funding is now only 35.6% of our total revenue budget, with the remainder being local revenue. The property taxes in this plan, I have used a 2% growth rate for property taxes, and we've projected those to come in at $161.1 million. The millage rate in this budget plan that we recommended at the last meeting would require a millage increase of 10.5 mils. That is equal to the consumer price index increase plus 2.5 additional mils. So in total, you as a local school board, based on our consumer price index of 2.63 and the population growth for Fort Mill School District of 3.81, you could increase millage 19.7 mils. But this proposed budget plan only requires you to approve 10.5 mils of the 19.7. We are using $400,000 as the value of a mill, and that is based on the current year collections, what we saw come in for taxes. This plan still requires us to transfer $3.5 million from our contingency fund for the opening of Flint Hill Middle School to go towards that $5 million. We gave you a breakdown by category 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we can flip to those. We were originally recommending category 1, 2, and 3. What we left on the table was category 4, which were 4 additional elementary math coaches for 4 of our elementary schools. We needed 8 to fully fund the plan so that we have a full-time math coach at each elementary school. We had already built in 4, and we placed 4 as category 4. We are proposing tonight for your consideration in going ahead and picking up those 4 elementary math coaches, because in my mind, I'm shifting. I just said we can lower the debt millage 1.5 mils. This would require an additional mill on top of the 10.5. So we could capture category 4 in this plan. Does that make sense?
Be a wash.
It would be a wash, basically.
We thought, yeah.
In the 4 schools, I believe I'm getting this right, so y'all help me if I believe the 4 schools that currently do not have an elementary math coach are TK, Doby's Bridge, Gold Hill Elementary, and Kingstown Elementary. Category 5 included 4 additional 4-year-old pre-K classes, 2 for regular ed and 2 for special ed. We heard your concerns back to us, saying that it was really something you would like us to do next year. It's something that we have been talking about since January. I think I shared with you that that was always something that we thought we would propose next year. A little head start on opening the Early Childhood Center down the road. I'm happy to say we have figured out how to do it. I think I shared with you that we have spent a lot of time, and I cannot commend our principals enough for working with us and taking our phone calls. And when we say, can we rethink your class size at a certain grade level, if they've had a retirement or a resignation, we have been able to identify 4 additional teacher FTEs. So we are proposing that those 4 teacher FTEs go towards the 2 special ed pre-K classes and the 2 regular ed pre-K classes. We've identified 4 classroom assistants through looking at the kindergarten enrollment. So we're really only short 2 assistants to meet all those requirements. So I feel pretty good we can get there, 2 assistants with this plan. If you recall, I had shared with you that some things that aren't in this recommendation are needed new dollars because we already figured it out with, we call it repurposing our positions, our FTEs. We have already added 4 special ed teachers. We've added 6 special ed classroom assistants. We added the 4 elementary math coaches for the half they asked for 8, and we added the 4 middle school math interventionists. So the elementary math coaches, that was the elementary principals collectively, that was their #1 budget request. So if we are going to recommend category 4 to you because that meets the #1 elementary request. We met the #1 middle school request because their #1 was the math interventionist, and we needed 4, and we repurposed 4 FTEs to do that. And the #1 high school principal request is the testing coordinators, which is in our category 3, that was in the 10.5 mils. So I feel like I'm really proud of us. We've really worked hard, and like I say, our principals have been great working with us as we've gone through the last couple months, and really the last couple weeks as well, as we've talked about every open position and whether or not we needed to fill it, and do we need to fill it at that school or a different school, shifting a few things around. We're very pleased with where we are tonight with proposing this to you, with being able to fund all of the recommendations that we initially put into our categories for next year.
So if I,
So, okay.
I would say, just so make sure that we're all on the same
So
page.
in summary,
Yeah.
we are recommending to go ahead and fund categories 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through the pre-K classes. That would take the 10.5 mils plus the 1 mil, so it would take 11.5, but the 1 mil will be offset by the reduction in debt service.
By at least 1.5 in debt
Correct,
service.
where the
Maybe-
1.5 comes into play because, as I mentioned, we're still looking at, do we have 2 more classroom assistant FTEs
Okay.
to offset that? If not, we would need to pick up the other half by the time you vote on the final version of this.
And we would learn if that math still holds after you get your new allocations with the 135 days, that nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
Hopefully in the positive direction.
Hopefully, yes, yes.
Have you seen or spoken to any other districts that are in our same tiny boat that's sinking from the state?
Yes, I actually had an finance group OEC meeting with the 9 OEC districts last Friday.
Right.
Every district is in the same situation to some degree with the constraints of the state funding formula.
So
if-
somebody's gaining.
Well, but so if 9 districts out of 72, and that's just the 9 that we have talked to closely, if 9 districts out of 72 are losing funds, and we are down to 35.6% of our budget being funded by the state, there is a problem that no one is recognizing.
Yes. There is a problem with the funding formula. And some of the districts, if you look at just the raw numbers across the state, some districts are not actually netting a loss, like where I say we're netting 605,000, they may be showing new revenue, but it's not enough to cover the teacher salary increase.
Right.
We were, as the 9 OEC districts, we recently gathered the data for our legislative breakfast, and every one of the 9 districts has a shortfall in covering teacher pay increase. And that doesn't include,
State mandated required increase.
well,
Yeah.
yes and no.
Well,
If you
yes.
already
They're-
are
they're
at
above the-
50,000,
They're above it, but they're raising it by $2,000 regardless.
correct, correct.
73% underfunded.
Yes, we're 73% under.
To a district that has minimal business because we are 90+% rooftops.
Putting it in business
Yes.
terms,
Right.
the state no longer has a majority stake in our school district. It's no longer a school, state school district.
I mean, I think you guys have done an amazing job to bring us a plan that not only minimizes the impact, but does so while still meeting the needs and the expectations to run a district the way we expect to run a district. So I commend all of you guys in the room
Yes.
for your help in doing that. I think it stinks that we're down to 35% from what was 60 not that long ago, but
Penalized to be great.
questions? So process-wise, just. remind everybody-
Process-wise, could I get a nod of the head if we think we're going in the right direction so that we could start looking at filling some of these positions before we get behind on any backfill?
I think it's fair to say this, you have met all of the requests that we had the last time we had this discussion. So, I am personally very pleased, with where,
Agree.
with where this has us landing.
I agree that we're meeting the requests that we've had and doing it the most fiscally responsible path we have available to us with as fiscally responsible to our businesses as we can, given the predicament that our legislature has put us in.
Well, I agree. I totally agree. I think this team has done a wonderful job putting this up, especially lining it up with the strategic plan. I think it's done very, very well. Where I have pause is going to be is student growth is a metric I've heavily looked at for the past couple of years, and I've understood the rationale behind the needs, even if the student growth wasn't there. It's a metric that I'm heavily looking at this time, and the student growth still is not what I'm seeing. And so now I've also seen the ROI from us making these coaching moves and all of these things over the past few years, because we've gone from 250th to 91st. Got it. Like, I love that. That's fantastic. Where I have a little hesitation here is, correct me if I'm wrong, but organically, like if we don't raise the millage at all, if we literally say none of this, we still increase our budget's going to go up. Was it $13 million?
Correct. Yes.
So I'm all on board with tier 1. I have pause with anything added if we're not touching, if we're not even touching what we're organically growing as well. I feel like we're hitting an imbalance on our local tax base. It's so small, but I also have to reconcile that with it's 35.5% state funded. I mean, this is a joke. This is
Very difficult.
This is a joke. But and I'm not over here advocating, I'm advocating for the schools. But it's not uncommon at all for a business owner in our area, our neighbors, to have over a well over $20,000 property tax bill on their business. And I've heard it for years. It's the blessing of doing business in Fort Mill, all of these things, but that does hit a max. Like that does hit a ceiling for me. And it's impossible to rent a place. I mean, because the property tax on rentals are so high. So it's that whole term of affordability as well. There's really no room for rentals in our area. And I see the value, all of it. But I have pause because I feel like we're hitting an imbalance. And without the student growth, that's where I have hesitation.
I think next year, I had an idea, and I've shared it with some of my colleagues across the state. I think we are going to potentially go at this a little. I think the funding formula is the funding formula now. We've tried for 5 years to have changes to that. I think the piece that we really should try to focus on next year is helping our legislators understand that the pot that reimburses us for what they call Tier 3, the deficit between what we would be collecting on 4% homes and what we are collecting from the state has grown so much. For us, our deficit this year is I think it's $76 million. It's over $70 million more that we would be collecting on homes. And I think we really need to focus on that next year, and we're talking about starting those discussions, some of us this summer and into the fall, and really seeing, helping our legislators understand that piece of it, that state pot of money needs to be increased for those allocations to help reimburse us for more of those lost dollars and the burden that's placing on all of our business community here because of the lack of those dollars coming in to support our budget, support paying our teachers, and support a district like ours that is opening new schools as well.
Leanne, talk about that just a little bit more. So the Tier 3 funding is a line item within the overall education funding, or it is a separate line
It is a
item?
separate line item in the state budget.
Okay.
That was set up when Act 388 was passed. That was to reimburse districts for what they were losing when the state gave homeowners the benefit of not paying school operating millage.
And how is that pot of money, that line item, how is the size of that funding line determined? Is it the same as it's always been forever?
It increases, but it increases at a very small amount.
Okay.
And I need to pull out the exact wording in the law, and I can share that with you all at the next meeting or send it out to you prior, because I want to spend some time myself looking at that and how we can propose some changes to that state funding line item, because that's separate than the formula.
It would be law change of
It would
the
be law
wording of it?
change, yes, but it would be separate than the education funding formula.
And it's somewhat separate from Act 388 as well.
And it's somewhat separate from Act 388.
So it's not like we're having to change that.
Right.
Right.
In layman's terms, that's the $2,000 to $7,000 credit that everyone sitting here and or watching at home sees on their property tax bill on their home
Correct.
every year.
Correct.
Leanne, I just have a couple, I just need
Sure.
to clarify. I think it's a big notebook of notes, basically, and I just want to make sure I've got all my dogs lined up, ready to bark. We have seen growth in reading and in math, but our reading growth has been higher than our math growth. I'm correct in that?
Yes.
And while we can't prove correlation versus causation, we have had reading coaches for longer than we've had math coaches. We shared 2 schools per middle school math coach this year. Is that correct?
Correct.
Math interventionists
interventionist.
at our middle
Yes.
schools. and when we put one in at a low performing, or one of our low performing is nebulous in Fort Mill. But at one of our lower performing, once we put a math interventionist in there, we saw tremendous growth.
Yes, correct. I would say extreme growth.
Okay, and our ESOL student growth is at a higher percentage than our overall student growth? Is that, like, I feel
I
like
would
we've
venture
been
to say yes.
presented
I would have to
lots
check
of
to make-
ESOL?
Yes, I mean, we're recognized as a leader in ESOL.
Okay,
in the state. I would venture to say yes, the growth is higher.
Can we get,
verify that? But
for the next meeting, can we get a comparison of that growth and versus our overall growth? These are things I've heard come at us.
Sure.
But
Yes.
like I said, it's a big notebook. And finding all of that would be hard for me. But
And there was actually the curriculum request for additional ESOL teachers, they requested 2. And we have 1 on here as a recommendation to be funded.
well, I mean, honestly, it looks to me like y'all have gone back and tried to make this as lean as possible, which, as somebody who will be paying those
Yes.
taxes, I greatly appreciate. But I can imagine if I was receiving students who had needs in my classroom, I would greatly appreciate the targeted interventions and positions that are being put in place to help me as a teacher be successful for my students.
So I'll flip to the category 2 and 3 items. So we've mentioned a few. So the category 2 priority was the additional ESOL teacher. As I shared, they requested 2. The second one is a position that we currently have that this would be shifting to the general fund because of the reduction in federal funds. You've seen that on some prior year budgets where we're receiving a reduction in federal funds. The third position is a receptionist slash 504 data manager. We need someone with the new building opening this summer. We need someone up front in that facility because we are going to have a lot of training in our new training center over there. And so we need someone in the front of that building to monitor that and welcome our guests and help us with managing that building. The fourth one is a district webmaster. That would be a new position, but you heard Mr. Burke and Mr. Spittle speak on that at the last meeting related to some of the compliance issues that are now required with our websites and just the need to have not only meet those compliance issues, but more conformity across our schools with the school websites. And then the last 2, one is HR. We are just seeing an increase in their budget for background checks. Primarily, this is some materials and supplies, but primarily background checks. And then the communications item, this is our FOIA online program that Mr. Burke has been piloting. He's very pleased with. That is a very systematic approach for FOIA requests and has all the documentation, and it keeps up with all the deadlines, and it's uniform because we get a lot of those requests per month. And he's been very pleased with that program. And then the category 3 items, the increase in the general fund athletic and band extracurricular, we currently allocate $22,000 for each high school for band and $22,000 for athletics. We have not increased that since, I think we said 12 years, a long time, or longer than that.
I think it was 2008.
2008, that's right, 2008. And we have not increased that. And so this would increase that from 22,000 to 50,000 for band and athletics. And I can tell you that I know most our surrounding school districts, they allocate a much larger amount in their general fund for supporting band and extracurricular activities. we've just kind of been fortunate to do the 22,000 for so many years. But they have continued to request an increase in that. And they provided me a list of a lot of the expenses that they incur in both of those programs. The second,
Lee, I'm sorry.
sure.
So articulate, what does that general fund entail again?
So the general fund, we currently, we have an allocation for stipends for the coaches and for the band director and band assistants. That is a little over $200,000 per high school. And then each high school band and high school athletic department, they receive $22,000 that they can use to help with their program. And we haven't increased that since 2008, that amount. The next one is an additional middle school athletic trainer. As you know, we have a great partnership with Atrium Health, and they provide athletic trainers at the high schools for us, as well as we started, they are helping us with middle school, but we only have 2. And so it is very difficult for those 2 for middle school to be able to be at all of the major athletic events. And so Atrium would cover 25% of the cost, and we would cover 75% of the cost for an additional middle school athletic trainer. And so that would help us with having 7 middle schools next year, help us with some of the coverage at the middle school games. The next one is ESOL instructional. Once again, that's some loss of some federal Title III funds. That was in the curriculum budget request and the Classroom Mosaic district subscription. That was in the curriculum request as well. And then the last one on category 3 are the 3 high school testing coordinators that I shared. That's the #1 high school principal's request for next year, is to have a dedicated position for assisting with testing year-round.
So these items really, to Joe's point, really aren't related to growth per se.
They're
right?
not
Student
directly
numbers.
related to the number of students.
Right.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but while you're using 18,000,
818.
say 181,
18818.
you're using that from a budgetary standpoint. You're not necessarily using that as the number of bottoms in seats on an everyday occasion. You're using that as an average in budget figuring.
We're using it, those are Dr. Holden's projections.
Right.
By school, by grade level.
Okay.
So we're using it to set up the school budgets. They receive the $110 per student. We're using it for that, and then we're using it as well when we're looking at any resignations, retirements, and looking at that school, that projected class size for that grade level. So we're using it a couple different places.
But we're not funded by base student costs.
But we're not funded by base student
Right, so that's
costs.
sort of the difference from how it used to be, that
Correct.
it mattered, not that it doesn't matter, but that number doesn't directly tie to the funding that we get from the state anymore.
Right.
Well, and I also think you have to look at these categories too. The price of doing business is more.
Right.
For example, my gas budget every month and my grocery budget has gone up over the last 6 months because I don't have any more kids, thank God. But it's gone up because of the price of gas and groceries. So a lot of these in this category 2 and 3 are because of the increase in operating a school district.
And or like having another building means another
Correct.
receptionist and those kind of things, that it's not specifically tied to a number of students.
Correct. And I've not made any changes. I had sent you the summary of all requests. I think the number was slightly over $26 million. So we've had a lot of discussion, and, we'll come up with the list, and then we'd say, well, let's all think about it and then the senior leadership team would get back together. And it was usually me saying, no, we can't do that much. Cut it down, cut it down. And that's how we got to this point this evening with these priority recommendations for you.
So really quick, so looking at just going to category 3 here, something we covered with the, I believe it was, what was the one that all high school
The
students-
testing
all
coordinators.
high school, yeah.
The testing coordinators.
Yeah, so why would that fall there and not like a tier 1? If all
Well, a tier 1 for me is something that
We don't really have a choice.
we don't really have a choice, or kind of what I call cash out the door. It's some of our inflationary increases, like on our technology contracts, our maintenance budget, looking at our actual cost this year, and it's our recommended salary increases. And then any new classroom teachers, our new classroom assistants, and then certainly for next year, it's opening Flint Hill Middle School. That's kind of the criteria that we use for what we tell you is we think our category 1 priority. Things that we do have to address, or it would be very difficult to operate if we did not address those things. And so that's why we try to keep that sort of just for those items as category 1. And this year, it was somewhat coincidental, but category 1, the cost of category 1 and the new tax revenue we would need very closely aligned with the amount of revenue we could bring in from the Consumer Price Index percentage increase, which is the 8 mills, which is built into the state formula to address inflationary increases. Is the purpose of that piece of the state formula that allows you to increase tax millage. But like I said, that was somewhat of a coincidence. I didn't work backwards from that. It worked out that way. But it made sense to me as well when I looked at those items.
So you're going to hopefully get refreshed information from the state in the next week or so.
Yes.
And then we have another meeting on the 20.
On the 19th, I believe.
19th, okay.
But we have to go ahead and advertise for the public hearing of the budget the end of this week.
For
about
the
the first of next week.
For the 19th.
For June the
Okay.
2nd.
Because that's the official, so it's
Correct.
another discussion, just like this.
Yes.
At the next meeting.
Correct, on the 19th, but we will have already advertised for the public hearing, but you can certainly make any changes that you would like. We just kind of like for what we advertise for the public hearing to be
What we're thinking.
what we're thinking. Close, very close. And then, like I say, we would like to go ahead and move on. If you feel that you are going to support this budget plan, we would like to be able to go ahead and move on some of these positions that are related to teaching positions.
I mean, I think the only caveat to that is if something happens in the allocations that you receive in the next
Yes.
week and it goes the wrong direction,
Okay.
right? And it's a miss from what we're thinking.
Well, I think by the time we would be able to post an interview
Yes, we will
for these
know.
positions, the issue is there's going to be a lot of internal moves in these positions. Like I know I've heard from several principals, there's kindergarten teachers interested in the 4K positions. There's, so that's where we want to, and then the math interventionist at the middle school level could be hired within, which then you have to hire a teacher to replace that.
Right.
So that's where we kind of want to start moving on that. I think by the time we interviewed and we're ready to offer these jobs, we would have those allocations and we can always pull back if needed.
Worst case, yes.
Worst case scenario.
So I know we keep using Dr. Holden's number as a guidance, but I think we've missed a few times. And so what I'm more so interested in is us, or you all as a group, I would like to get insight on what we keep missing on that number. So I would like to gain an understanding on the why. And I think you all are experts in this, or you all have supporting cast who help with this. For me, I hear 18.8. We haven't been close to 18.8. Like we're off 50, or we're off 100, we're off 200. Like in my mind, I understand that we're not using that as a part of a formula, right?
Right.
But still, at the end of the day, it's a number that I ask every year for the last 3 years, and I keep asking the why. So I'm much more interested in
That number. Okay.
that-
And
that-
we
that-
can,
That's important to me.
And
So-
what would it do to this budget if it were 18.5 instead?
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Let's, and I just throw that out. I'm just making,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
if we thought that 18.5 is really the right number instead of 18.8.
I don't think that, if 18.5 is a closer number, I don't think that's gonna change our recommendation here, but we can certainly let us discuss with him and get a little more information on the data that went into, the way that he does his calculations and the data that went into that number. And we can share that with you at the next meeting, certainly.
So respectfully, I hear that's not we still use 18, you're using 18.8 for a reason. And so for me, we need to be able to start talking about, we're growing, but we're missing a number. And that's important to me, that I know you all understand it. That's important to me.
Okay.
So, somehow, some way, if you can think about and articulate the why, I would like to know more about that.
I think I can probably, from a professional standpoint, tell you why, in a lot of ways. Homes that just sold in the last 24 hours, literally. 2 of them sold for under $300,000, and they were built in 1984, and they are both only 2-bedroom. The average of the rest of the homes that sold in our zip code, 29708 and 29715, 715, I lost my oxygen there, is almost $500,000. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I know when I bought my first home 30 some odd years ago, $500,000 was not a part of a conversation that was being held in my household. I did good to get a $150,000 house in Chicago. So I think that some of our number decline, if you will, is the average price of a home in 29708 and 29715 is becoming a reach for new families, especially first-time home buyers, and that's not anything people sitting here can directly impact.
But my gut is that Dale Holden has not
Accommodated.
adjusted his
Yes,
projections.
His formula,
Right, his formula.
1.25.
And it is, we have to go through that periodically for impact fee purposes.
Yes.
And so, I don't, 0.34 per house and 0.25 for apartment or whatever. I wonder how those numbers have
Right.
shifted because of the cost of the homes now.
And because we build so many more apartments and other things and become so much more transient than we ever used to be, that's allowing the push-ups on pricing as well to swap.
And just to add, obviously, I think we all know there was a declining birth rate for a while.
For COVID.
Our kindergarten numbers, the last, I believe, 3 years have been down. I think they're up this year from what our kindergarten registration was last year. We'll have to check on that, but I thought that I saw that.
So we only have 4, so if we look at category 1, let me flip back. We only have 4 new classroom teachers on category 1, and that is 2 middle school and 2 high school. And the 2 high school are Catawba Ridge. So, I thought about this to answer your question, Mr. Ray. So when we look at that, even if we looked at certain middle schools, if the number went down to 18.5 and certain middle schools were gonna be impacted by that lower number, at the secondary level, it's very difficult to then say, well, we don't need as many teachers because it's content driven for the courses and the content. And so that wouldn't necessarily save us from still needing these 4 additional classroom teachers, 2 for middle school and 2 for high school. Does that make sense? At the elementary level, we, based on his projections, we were able to reduce our number of teachers by 13 FTEs. And so we repurposed those FTEs to help meet the special ed classroom requirement, and the special ed classroom assistant requirement. Remember I told you their request was originally 29, and I talked them down to 14. So we've already somewhat used some of the reductions that we were able to see in the FTEs towards some of that already, without having to have a lot more new positions on this list for your consideration.
So the big thing that maybe just to figure out, should we keep talking 18.8 or should we
Correct.
look at realistic growth and say, okay, 18 something?
Right. I mean, we will have a lot of discussion about this and come back to you, but I just don't.
I don't think it changes.
I don't think it changes a lot of this at all.
And the other thing too, that doesn't ever show up in a budget, and Mr. Young, thank you for your overwhelming weekly update. I so enjoy it. But when you look at the
Wait till you hear my superintendent's report.
I know, right? When you look at the number of students that do come into our district that are now being assessed for 504 and IEP and everything else, y'all, those numbers are not going down. And I don't know about you, but I can only see and talk to so many people in a day before there's nothing left to be able to do the job that is necessary.
So the needs are increasing.
Caseload is off the chart.
More so than the numbers.
I would like to hear a
Sure.
revised story.
Absolutely.
from
We
the
will work on
business.
that.
Yeah, and even
Yes.
on that kindergarten, that's
Yes.
great that we're seeing a bump up, but that's not a Fort Millage, that's a national.
That is
It is,
correct.
issue.
absolutely.
National.
Absolutely.
Kindergarten
Yes.
numbers are just down.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you all did, you did a wonderful job of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, but we will dive into those enrollment projections, and report back to you.
Because I think you said something about a 2% growth in properties, right? And so
Yes.
does that align with an X% growth in students, right? Is there some
Yeah,
other,
maybe that
Yes.
formula
some
needs to be
other
changed.
correlation,
Yeah.
right?
That's,
So-
yes.
Something
Okay.
along those lines. Sorry, the math geeks.
Thank you for that question. We will work on that. We understand. Yes.
And I just want to thank you, Leanne, for all of your hard work on this. You've done an amazing job. Thanks to our cabinet members and our principals for all of their work, because a lot of behind the scenes hard work and dedication to getting these numbers where they are
Yes.
took place. So thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, I do think that brings you to your extremely wordy superintendent
Yes.
report that you've got.
Oh,
Nutrition.
Tammy's like,
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
She's been waiting
How did I
patiently.
do that?
I almost got out of it.
That, her favorite thing every year.
Yeah.
We can talk to her about it today. Sorry.
Hey, good evening. My name is Tammy Welch. I am the director of the Student Nutrition Department, and I'm going to provide you a brief overview of our department. Do I click this right here? Okay, so what's been cooking up in our department? So we are in the National School Lunch and Breakfast programs, and these are federally managed programs that support student nutrition. Across our 23 kitchens, an incredible team of dedicated staff works every day to ensure that every student who needs a nutritious meal receives one. This year, we are on track to do 2 million meals. We are the largest restaurant chain in Fort Mill. What are macros? So as a dietitian, I know a lot about counting macros, carbs, fat, and protein, but this year I have learned a lot about macros in the Excel world. The IT department has created these helpful tools for us that has saved our department over 2,000 hours. So some of the reports we couldn't even run because it was just so time-consuming to try to get them organized, so these macros have really helped us. We continued with our Thankful Thursdays this year. where we provide a complimentary lunch meal to our staff out in the schools and our district office staff. It's been well received and just a small token of appreciation for all the hard work that goes into educating our students. Looking ahead next year, we are going to be using US Foods as our main food distributor, so we're real excited about that, to get back to our hometown company. I think that'll be beneficial because it's local. It's going to be a lot easier for us to manage. This year, we're pleased to have been chosen to participate in the Certified South Carolina Cafeteria Program. Our district was awarded a grant and where we are able to work with South Carolina farmers to bring produce that is grown in South Carolina soil. We get a lot of produce from North Carolina, Georgia, and of course across the country, but now we're taking an initiative to get produce from South Carolina. We have focused on strawberries, so for the past 2 weeks, I think we're going to be able to do 4 to 6 weeks of fresh strawberries from a farm down in Ridge Springs, South Carolina. This has also opened the door for us to talk to some more local farmers like Springs Farms. I have a meeting with them in the next few weeks, and another farm based down in Chester. So the strawberries were delicious, huge, and just so beautiful. Eligibility for the 25-26 year, we're pretty much on track as we were last year. We had a little bit of increase in our reduced students, so our free students went down a tiny bit and our full pay students went down a little bit. But we're looking at 19.3% free, 3.4% reduced, and 77.3% are full pay.
And there was some discussion in the legislature this year about
Free breakfast.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of districts. I think it was going to be 8 million, yeah, 8 point something million, but yeah, it got voted down.
It's not happening.
But Leanne said it could possibly happen. Probably not.
Notification to our legislators to ask them to reconsider it in the House 2 version.
Okay.
We will see. Yeah, we're sad about that. Because when we have free breakfast or free lunch, our participation goes way up. During COVID, you can see on this slide that the breakfast went up to 47% and our lunch went up to 65%. So on trend pretty much for our same participation rates this year. We did go down slightly from 21% breakfast to 19.5%, and then our lunch is down about 1%. Some of this, tiny bit of this, is when Flint Hill missed the 2 days. They're our biggest elementary participation school, so we lost about 1,400 to 1,500 meals on those 2 days. Our current meal prices, our breakfast is $1.85, lunch at elementary school is $3, and middle school and high school is $3.75. And the reason that elementary is lower than middle school is high school is that high school gets larger portions, especially in the center of the plate. Your protein items, which are much more expensive, they have a vast majority. They have a lot more choices in middle school and high school, especially high school. So those drive up our meal prices. Reduced meals this year was covered again by the State Department. So we put our claim in, and the State Department pays us the 30 cents for breakfast for students who are on reduced, they eat with us, or 40 cents for lunch.
So it's free to the student,
It's free to the students.
just like the other free lunch.
Yes.
We do get at least some funding for those.
Yes. So usually the student pays the 30 cents, but now the State Department gives us that money. Adult meals are also set by the State Department and the federal government. So we find out usually in July, middle July, of what we have to charge our adult for breakfast and adult for lunch. And we have to include our local sales taxes for that price. So we don't get to set that price. And the reason why it's higher is because we get no federal reimbursement from the state or the federal government for those meals. Our revenue expenses, comparing 24-25 to this year, what we're projecting to happen this year. Last year, our revenue was $8.5 million. This year, it's $8.7 million. We went up slightly, and that's probably because of our increased meal prices. Our total expenses were down, and that was we did not buy any equipment We didn't replace anything this year. So last year we lost 1.1 million, and we wanted to lose money because we had to spend down our excessive operating budget. It's a federal law, you can only carry so much money. And then this year, we're projected to have a positive balance, about 462,000. Now that we know that we have the 462, we do have some big projects we need to complete, so we're gonna start working on that to spend some of that money. The challenges that we think we're gonna face in 26, 27, of course, as we mentioned, the food, supplies, and fuel costs are increasing. That increases our cost when we purchase food. Staffing continues to be a challenge, but this year I think we did so much better than previous years. We weren't, maybe we were fully staffed for 2 weeks, which is better than we've been pre-COVID. I mean, it's been great. We still have our floaters, and we have, that really help us throughout the day to fill in gaps when people call out. We also have included in our budget the 2.5% cost of living for next year. And we are opening Flint Hill Middle School, which is gonna increase by 5 staff members, a manager, assistant manager, and 3 operators. We're also always worried about new USDA regulations that affect our menus and also, of course, affect our cost. They have phased implementation of stricter sugar rules and also salt. They're looking to go down in the sodium. We are on year 1 of the Buy American budget proviso, I guess they call it. It's 10% of our purchases can come that are not grown in America, 10%. And that includes bananas, which we don't grow in America, pineapple, we do a ton of mandarin oranges. So we have to count all that in our 10%. In 28, 29, that number will go down to 8%. We're pretty good right now with the 10%, but I'm hoping that they will change that and allow us, if you can't get it in America, we need to be able to get bananas on our menu. We're also awaiting to see if the new food pyramid, have y'all seen the upside down pyramid? We have to follow what the USDA sets out for that, so they are gonna be changing our regulations to match the food pyramid. I don't know how quickly it's gonna happen. I've heard very fast, and it'll be ready by next year, but I don't see that happening now that it's later in the year. The free and reduced meal program is also gonna receive reduced funding because they have changed SNAP qualifications and Medicaid qualifications, and those students come to us, it's called directly certified, for free and reduced meals. So I'm thinking next year we might have less free and reduced students. We'll have to just see. And of course, we're always fighting with our meal debt. Our biggest challenge is stretching the $4.70 for a school lunch. It's not just food. We have to cover benefits, deliveries, paper products, supplies, our training. All has to come out of the $4.70. So where can you go, any restaurant, to get 5 components and a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables for $4.70? Only in school cafeterias across America. If we have a snow day or a weather day, we get 0 funding, so we lose out on that revenue. If we don't sell a meal, we don't receive funding to make up for those days. In Fort Mill, we actually do not receive $4.70 for most of our meals because most of our students are paid students, and that is part of the paid lunch equity. So at lunch, if you have a high school student, they're going to pay us $3.75. USDA is going to give us 53 cents for every paid meal, which equals $4.28. So we're doing it for $4.28. Free and reduced students, we're going to get the $4.69. So that leaves a gap about 41 cents. So there's some rules saying they don't want that gap to be so big and that we need to increase our paid meal prices to bring that back in. So I am proposing a 5-cent meal increase at breakfast and at lunch, which would bring our breakfast meal to $1.90 from $1.85. Elementary lunch would go from $3 to $3.05, and then high school and middle school would go to $380. And with that increase, hopefully we will be able to cover our 2.5% cost of living. So that's going to bring in about $65,000 of projected revenue with the 5-cent meal increase, and also help us with our paid lunch equity requirement. We'll also be able to sustain our program quality, support our staff with the 2.5%, and we can also purchase equipment. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have one. Just out of curiosity, how are they monitoring the 10%?
We have to, so when we get our invoices, it'll say on there where the product was purchased or where it was grown. So we know what's grown in America and we know what's grown in other countries. And then we have a spreadsheet that we have to keep up with all that.
And then they audit the spreadsheet?
Yes, they're going to audit us, yes, to make sure to look at our
And
invoices.
what is the, what happens if we order one too many Mandarin orange cups and we're at 10.5%? What happens?
I guess they could take some of our funding away. I haven't heard what the penalties are going to be, but typically we get threatened with that.
There's a lot of mandates that are being pushed down, how they're going to account for that.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Don't order too many bananas.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to change some of our fruits, but we have to change some things on the menu to take off that were made in China or.
And does the 5-cent increase position us well enough that when we have to go to the lower percentage, that we can make up that difference? Because it's going to cost a lot more for us to go to.
Yeah, right now we're fine. I mean, I'm good right now. I'm like at 9%, sometimes I'm 8% already.
Okay.
So I think that I can just, every year we'll just keep looking at it because it's not mandated until 28, 29, and then it's going to go down to 5% within a few years after that.
Yeah, and to your point, it's not just about it costing more. We don't make bananas. We just don't make bananas.
And pineapple, yeah, yeah.
I gotta say, I gotta give you so much credit because this isn't what like regular school districts have. So whenever we go to the conferences, one in particular, there's nothing but just troves of food nutrition people trying to get you to get their third party stuff. We do all of this in house, and I think so many people don't realize what the standard is, like what the industry standard versus what we do, and it's just done so well. I think if you coming in here, I think your revenues and expenses they look beautiful. Like I understand we have to run this thing at a deficit, and so what a great opportunity to make some improvements with this 462,000. I think you're running this so well. I'm happy to hear about like your macros and stuff like that simplifies that, saving, what was it, 2,000 hours?
That's what they said. I guess that's what I said.
Did you feel
Well, you think about all the managers, we have 22 cafeterias, so the managers are running the same reports and manipulating the reports. So I can just put it through the macro and send it out to everybody, so it just saves a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think 5 cents is absolutely more than fair. I think it's absolutely outstanding. I'll just probably have to hear Joe Burke's voice more on my phone telling me that my kids are, negative on their lunch balance. But yeah, I think wonderful job. I just want people to know this isn't what happens in most school districts, and you do a phenomenal, knock it out of the park.
Thank you.
And actually, Mr. Young and I were just talking, I think by policy, we're supposed to vote on it, but we did not have the vote on the agenda.
I think I'm coming back.
I was to say, so we can't vote on it tonight, but.
This is like a first reading.
It makes perfect sense, and I mean, to your point about everything's getting more expensive, our groceries are getting more expensive, and 5 cents is a very small increase, all things considered, so.
Every time we go to the grocery.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank
You get to
you.
come back again, I know you love it. And now, we are to our last item, which is the superintendent's report.
All right, I want to give a shout out to these students before they leave. Thank you. still here. He's over 2 hours. This is awesome.
He's hardcore.
So, yeah,
Right.
definitely. Thank you for being here. I know you're here for a class probably.
Wouldn't be if
We
you didn't have
appreciate
to.
it. So I'm going to do the superintendent's report a little bit different. I'm going to start giving a little summary of kind of what's been going on in the district and where I've been and where our district office has been and what's going on in the schools. Kind of step back from the day-to-day operations and really highlight the people and the things that we're doing as a district. So I'll try to give you all a little snapshot each month of what we're doing. So if you think back, our last meeting was April the 14th, I think, 15th, something like that. So since then, we had our Teacher of the Year banquet. So we were able to recognize all of our Teachers of the Year, and we named 5 honor roll teachers: Chris Beasley from Kingstown, Annalise Eberhard from Fort Mill Middle, Cambridge Gamble from Springfield Middle, Renika Middleton from Banks Trail, and Christian Shower from River Trail Elementary School. So congratulations to all of them. We also had the Old English Consortium Legislative Breakfast. I was not there personally, but it was at the Baxter Hood Center in Rock Hill. Dr. Dixon, Ms. Lordo, and Joe Burke all attended, and really most of the discussion was with all of the OEC districts, and I think there was one legislator there. But it was really regarding the funding at the state level. But I will tell you, we've been in contact with our legislators and making sure that they understand the constraints that we have and the issues we're having with it.
Out of curiosity,
Yeah.
which legislator is the one that attended?
I think it was
I think you
RC
guys told me that because I was shocked.
King.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was Representative King. Okay.
Representative King, yep.
Okay.
We also, Mike and I attended the Winthrop Dual Credit Pathway signing ceremony on April 20th. We have 24 rising juniors that will be our first cohort of students that will attend Winthrop University for half the day. They will attend their respective high schools for the other half of the day. And Mike, tell me if I'm wrong, is it 36 credits? 30, they will receive 36 college credits before they graduate high school, which is just amazing. So we are so excited about that. That was a lot of fun. We've had 2 staff summits since then. One was at Flint Hill Elementary School, and one was at Fort Mill Middle School. And just to kind of describe what those are opportunities for us at the district office to sit down with each individual staff of every school. We've now done 20 of these staff summits, I believe. Isn't that right, Donna? Yeah, sure. We have 2 left. I know we have Oak Grove and we have Pleasant Knoll Middle left. But it gives us an opportunity to sit down with them, for them to share ideas, to ask questions, to share concerns with the district office staff. We did this to take place of the teacher liaison process, and we really think it's gone very, very well. And at the end of these, we're going to come up with like the trends of questions to send out to our staff, so that they can look at what other schools asked at their staff summit. So those are, and I feel like they've been really productive in building trust and camaraderie with the school, between the school and the district office, which has been good. Attended the Fort Mill Takeover night at the Knights game. I had the opportunity to throw out the first pitch with Mayor Savage. I did not throw it in the dirt, so that's good. Yeah, I did stand in front of the mound. I was told that if you stand on the mound, there's a bigger chance you'll throw it in the dirt. So I threw a 35-mile-per-hour slider that the catcher framed real well. He put it right in the strike zone. So that was fun. We had the State of the Education breakfast for the York County Chamber of Commerce. That was a great event as usual. All 4 of the York County superintendents were able to share kind of what's going on in the district. I think there was a common trend about offering opportunities, expanded opportunities for our students, getting our students involved in extracurriculars and those types of things. So you heard a lot of the same thing from all 4 of us, but and also opportunities to prepare our students for the workforce in college. So thought that was a great event. I did spill my coffee all over the table, all over poor Deborah Elder from Rock Hill. So I apologize to Dr. Elder. I visited several schools over the past few weeks and have seen amazing things going on. I was at Gold Hill Middle School for a pep rally, I think it was last week or the week before. I think the week before. They were a finalist for Palmetto's Finest. They're winners in my eyes.
That's right.
And I firmly believe they should have won, but just awesome to see the culture over there. They handled it with so much grace, and when they announced that Waccamaw won, but we have a great culture over at Gold Hill, and it was awesome to see our students and our staff over there. And Chairwoman Spears and I, yesterday, just attended the Nation Forward High School Digital Art Showcase. We got to see Miss Miller and 8 of her senior students. They presented their final project. Amazing the internships that they had and amazing the things that they're doing. You should have seen their posters. I mean, it looked so professional. And a lot of the stuff that we produced as a district, I didn't realize that it was actually our Nation Forward students that were producing that work. So it was really cool to see their drive and ambition. And we had students going all over the country to college. I mean, Purdue was one of them. Obviously, some of the schools in the Carolinas, but a lot of them were pursuing digital art and design, which was really cool. So we had a good time there, and good to see the wonderful opportunities that they have. So that is my summary. So did you like it? Yeah.
Mr. Young, I would
Yes.
actually even say, and I'm probably speaking, I don't want to speak for the rest of the board.
Yes.
I love the summary.
Yep.
Like, if we're gonna do that each month.
Yep.
I don't know if I need the Friday update every week.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
What I'm saying is.
Are y'all cheering?
The reason listen, the reason why I'm saying this, and I'm going through this in my own job, where I have a program lead that's absolutely amazing that puts together a summary report with my leads at work, and it's a tremendous amount of work for the team.
It is.
And I think you've never, over this year, you have never let us down with communication. That I can point to. Your team keeps us updated with communication. It's just a lot of work. If you're going to provide us that well of a monthly summary, for me,
I think monthly is sufficient.
I don't need the weekly report.
Right.
And in fact,
Congratulations, guys.
if I can't get to the report, I almost feel guilty that I didn't read it because I know how much work's in it.
How much
Yeah.
work went in.
Yeah, they do a good job. Well, thank you. We can definitely.
Except for Joe Romanick.
Except for Joe.
He
We'll
should
make
still do
Mr.
a weekly report.
He's not here today.
Somebody text him right now.
He'll need to continue to provide his reports.
Yes, okay. We'll make sure he provides his report.
Perhaps Mr. Burke, because I don't know, we're gonna take that kind of inventory.
Yeah, that's true too. So, calendar of events. We have a lot going on right now. Obviously, we have the Rotary Literacy Picnic tomorrow from 4 to 7 at the Ann Springs Close Greenway, the Stables entrance. So, if y'all can make it out, so
The stables entrance?
that's
The Dairy
Dairy
Barn
Barn.
entrance.
We call that the Stables entrance now.
Okay, well.
I don't know.
Not old timers don't.
Yeah, okay. Dairy Barn. Sure.
Got it.
We have the retirees dinner on May 13th, Train Support Center. We have our support staff of the year brunch at 9 a.m. on the 14th. Board visits on the 19th to Nation Forward, Sugar Creek, and Oak Grove. And then we have our meeting that night. No school for Memorial Day. And then May 29th 's graduation. It'll be here before we know it.
Yep.
And then June, we'll have the Fort Mill School District Hall of Fame reception before that June meeting. And then we'll have that June meeting at 6 o'clock after the Hall of Fame reception. And with only 2, then I don't think it will last too terribly long. So.
Right.
Any questions on the calendar of events?
I'll just remind you and the rest of the board that I apologize, I will miss most of these things because I am headed out of the country for a couple weeks.
Sounds like poor planning.
So yes, I'm gonna miss some of these things, sorry. But I'll be back for graduation.
Enrollment, we are at 18,245 students. We are down 8 students since April 1st. Usually that's normal for this time of year.
And we
Don't
had
have a lot of people
80
in there.
December, January grads, correct?
Yes, I think it was
something like
80,
that.
something around there, 50, 69?
61 it says on this.
Student attendance update, every school for December was above, for April was above 94.3%. Fort Mill High School was the winner for the high school at 95.4%. At middle school, we had 96.6%, Pleasant Knoll, congratulations, Ellen. And at elementary, highest in the district, 97%, Matthew Johnson, Orchard Park. Good job, Matthew. And then chronic absenteeism, remember this is missing 10 or more days. 8.2% from Fort Mill High School is the lowest. Middle school was Gold Hill Middle School at 4.1%. And at the lowest in the district was 2.94% Kingstown Elementary School. So, congratulations to them. And that's all.
All right, well, we are in need of an executive session to discuss personnel recommendations, legal issues, and contractual matters. So I appreciate everybody joining. You're welcome to stick around and we'll be back.
Executive Session.
We are moving into executive session. Have a great night.
All right, I will.
All right, I think we're
Motion
back
to
on.
return to public session?
We are back in open session. While in executive session, we discuss personnel, contractual, and legal matters. We have, I believe, a couple actions to take.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the administration for 24 replacement and 6 new certified positions.
Second?
Michelle, can you say candidate A for the one?
You want that?
Motion and a second to accept the recommendation for 24 replacement and 6 new certified staff. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the administration to name candidate A as a Director of Student Services.
Second?
Motion and a second to name candidate A as the Director of Student Services. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
With that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.